Good morning, and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute with Ashton Gaskill. It is very cold this morning, and my jacket is still in storage, so thus I am going to be shivering my way through this video. But when we started this discussion about my outlining system, we started by looking at the end of your story and the beginning of your story. We cut that in half and looked at the midpoint. We cut those two halves in half by looking at the point of no return and the low point. So that leaves us with 4 sections of story. Now, based on the name of the outlining method, you may imagine we're going to break those fourths into eighths next and go point by point into breaking up what's remaining into 8 sections. The first of those points is the inciting incident, which I'm sure a phrase I'm sure you've heard before. The inciting incident comes about halfway between your characteristic opening, that first moment in your story, and your point of no return, which is about 25%, putting your inciting incident around 12.5%. These percentages aren't hard numbers necessarily, and specifically depending on genre, there's a little bit of wiggle room there. But beyond that, every individual story is going to have a little bit of, its own decisions to make. I've seen some people say that the inciting incident should be, well, let's just start by defining inciting incident. So your inciting incident is not the very first moment that leads to your climax. Some people treat your inciting incident like that. That's not what I mean here. Your characteristic opening actually should be the moment that the dominoes kind of start falling. There should be something in there that leads you to the inciting incident. You're going to use yes but no and to get from the inciting incident, or from the characteristic opening to the inciting incident. So technically, theoretically, that should be inevitable from the start. And it's also definitely not the point of no return. I've seen a few people claim that like the inciting incident of Harry Potter is him going to Hogwarts. That just doesn't make, that's not what we're doing here either. So for Harry Potter, the inciting incident would be, you're a wizard, Harry, and then Harry joining Hagrid to get stuff for his schooling and whatnot. Whereas the characteristic opening would be him living under the stairs, and everything goes on that. So the inciting incident, what it is the moment where you really get introduced to the idea of the conflict, where the character starts changing. Up until this point, we're being introduced to the character, how they existed before the story. We're being introduced to the world to a certain extent, depending on, at least the normal world. We're establishing what kind of world this takes place in. Especially in a fantasy or sci-fi book, we're being introduced to what makes this setting interesting and unique. In more urban fantasies, you're being introduced to how much fantastical elements the normal population knows. So up till now, it's been world-wise relatively boring, perhaps. but there's still stuff going on. However, the inciting incident is kind of that moment where things really start. It's the first kind of big event. The first thing is like, oh, okay, here we go. As I mentioned before, you want to try to deliver on your premise of your story as soon as you can. You want to at least hint about what's coming up, but you don't really give that full wallop until this moment. So hopefully that helps explain what the inciting incident is. Thank you for riding with me. I hope you have a great day.